The Herrscher of Reason is an Ice Elemental DPS Bronya battlesuit. Unlike other Bronya battlesuits, the Herrscher of Reason uses melee basic attacks. She is still able to fire charge attacks with her cannon and at a much faster rate, but at the cost of construction that can be charged up in battle. In comparison to most other Valkyries, the Herrscher of Reason has high damage output, both in short bursts and over extended periods. She excels in both boss fights and against multiple enemies, even at S rank. The Herrscher of Reason's leader skill provides the team with an unrestricted increase in elemental damage, and further increases the total damage multiplier of any Bronya, Zili, or Island-Yeva battlesuits in the team. When her construction bars are charged, the Herrscher of Reason is able to enter her Herrscher mode, the Evasion, where she is able to bypass charge time and immediately fire charge attacks. At SS rank, the Herrscher of Reason gains access to a skill that allows her to start the battle with 2 bars of construction. At SS rank, she gains the ability to max this skill, allowing her to start the battle with 3 bars of construction. With the majority of her damage coming from her charge attacks, this is a game changer for her in scenarios like the Memorial Arena. Furthermore, it gives her the ability to fully utilize her signature Stigmata, which provides bonus damage when she is in her Herrscher mode. Here's a comparison between an S rank and a SS rank Herrscher of Reason. These are not the optimum timings, but are just meant to show the difference between starting with 0 bars of construction energy and 3 bars of construction energy. She gains 1 additional bar when using her QTE. In unison with this ability, the skill that upgrades the ice damage output from her charge attack can also be fully upgraded at SS rank. Even though her evasion skill cannot be activated at will, the Herrscher of Reason does have an advantage with the timing. She has the ability to trigger her evasion skill even if she evades shortly after she has been hit, which not only activates a global time fracture, but also heals her. At SS rank, she gains the ability to apply the Analyze debuff on enemies when activating her evasion skill. Her basic attacks can cover a wide area, knock enemies airborne with the second hit, and even freeze them by applying the Analyze debuff on the last hit. It also enables her to recover SP at an increased rate. With melee attackers having to throw themselves into dangerous situations, the immunity from incoming frontal and flank attacks while using her drill attacks is invaluable. After using a charge attack and entering her Herrscher mode, the Herrscher of Reason gains multiple damage buffs and halves incoming damage. Like her basic attacks, her charge attacks also help her gain SP at an increased rate. Most importantly, when in her Herrscher mode, she gains increased total damage against psychic type enemies, effectively removing her type weakness. After using her ultimate skill, which deals a huge amount of damage on its initial hit, Project Bunny transforms into a bike, greatly increasing Bronya's mobility on the battlefield. Her evasion also gains the ability to deal damage to enemies, and when used properly, can keep them permanently frozen. She also reduces incoming indirect damage and heals when her HP is low, making her incredibly strong in the Direct C and Q singularis. Her signature weapon, the Key of Reason, is a cannon with a passive skill that increases ice damage by 30%. The cannon's active skill will construct a weapon on the field, which will deal continuous damage to surrounding enemies in 3 segments, and freeze them for 6 seconds after it's done dealing damage. After using the active skill, the user receives a 35% increase in total damage multiplier. This 35% increase is applied immediately after casting the active skill, allowing the weapons constructed by the active skill to benefit from the damage increase. When equipped by the Herrscher of Reason, the Analyze debuff will be added to the weapon's active skill and lasts for 7 seconds. The debuff is applied towards the end of the second segment of the active skill. Bronya deals an additional 40% total damage to enemies affected by the Analyze debuff. 5 SP will also be restored after using an ultimate skill, which is convenient as the weapon's active skill only requires 5 SP. When looking for alternative weapons, the basic goal is to use weapons with higher attack value, especially weapons that sacrifice critical for attack. Due to the lack of elemental cannons or even cannons that buff total damage, the Key of Reason is naturally the best fit for the Herrscher of Reason. With that being said, the damage variation between cannons and even between other weapon types isn't extremely huge. It is also worth noting that while cannons and cluster missiles generally make good weapon choices for boss fights, lasers fall behind in that category due to their slower rate of fire and inability to stack during time fracture. They do however have a long reach and the ability to shoot through enemies. As mentioned earlier, one of the factors that make the Key of Reason more powerful is its active skill, which not only buffs Bronya greatly, but also deals an impressive amount of damage. When it comes to Herrschers, it's safe to assume that their signature equipment will be the best option. Even though there are more suitable alternatives for her Stigmata than there are for her weapon, the Herrscher of Reason is no exception. Individually, all 3 parts of Weltjong's Stigmata set provide a damage increase to the user. The T-Stigma itself provides a huge boost in damage, especially in the Herrscher mode. Due to the number of hits her basic attack sequence is able to dish out, the M-Stigma's secondary ability can also be easily utilized along with its 2-set ability, which can be activated by completing a 4-hit combo, greatly boosting the damage of charge attacks that follow. Finally, the 3-set ability. Aside from providing yet another huge boost in ice elemental damage, it also equips the Herrscher of Reason with the ability to gather nearby enemies while in her bike mode. With the secondary abilities tailor-made for the Herrscher of Reason to easily utilize, and a huge unrestricted boost in both ice elemental and total damage, the potential of this set can be brought out in any type of situation. When looking for alternative Stigmata, the goal is to look for parts that increase ice elemental damage, total damage, or damage of charge attacks. Damage against frozen enemies is also viable, but might not be too useful. A possible choice for alternative Stigmata would be No Hime. Due to the Herrscher of Reason's ability to attack at close range, the 2-set ability will not be put to waste. This will also help with utilizing the B-Parts ability. With her innate ability to freeze enemies and the possibility of keeping them permanently frozen when in bike mode, the full potential of the No Hime set can be brought out. This however only works well in situations where there are multiple enemies and is also highly reliant on the ability to freeze. Boss fights and enemies immune to debuffs will put this build at a great disadvantage. Next, Robert Perry TNM with Shakespeare B. Like Velt set, this combination of Stigmata provides a considerable boost in unrestricted damage and easily activated secondary abilities. It can also be used in any type of situation. Unlike Velt set, the boosts aren't as high, and the abilities aren't specifically tailored to the Herrscher of Reason. Robert Perry's full set is also an option, but the increase in damage would be more beneficial than the attack speed increase from Robert Perry's 3 set. When looking for a cost-effective alternative, Jingwei T, Roald Amundsen M, and Einstein B make a good combination when gearing up for scenarios like the Memorial Arena. Jingwei T has always been one of the best options as a T-Stigma. It is used by many Valkyries in the Memorial Arena, and when looking for a cost-effective solution, the Herrscher of Reason is no exception. Offering unrestricted ice damage, Roald Amundsen M beats out all other options as an M-Stigma, including Tesla M, which provides a strong damage bonus but requires enemies to be frozen. The Herrscher of Reason's damage comes mostly from her charge attacks, both on and off her bike. Einstein B makes the perfect B part when it comes to providing an immediate boost in damage. There's also an added attack speed bonus against mech-type enemies. In scenarios outside the Memorial Arena, where there are constantly more than one enemy to deal with, Naoi Kanetsugu T comes in handy, especially since elemental damage does not break shields. However, the Herrscher of Reason's basic attacks do have the ability to do so, As such, Shigure T, although with a lower damage bonus, is still a viable T stigma. With the ice damage being unrestricted, rolled Amundsen M is useful both in and out of the Memorial Arena, providing a higher overall damage bonus and not being restricted to only charge attacks. Dorian B beats Einstein B in a drawn-out fight and in some boss situations. When it comes to team compositions, Elemental DPS Valkyries can draw from a large pool of Elemental support Valkyries and equipment. Naturally, Phoenix at SS rank and Arctic Kriegsmesser at S rank are ideal for their abilities at buffing team elemental damage. Phoenix at SS rank or higher can provide team elemental damage buffs, has the ability to time lock enemies, which is one of the triggers for the Herrscher of Reason's QTE, and is able to spawn SP packs. For her equipment, Cinderhawk is useful at boosting Phoenix's damage, making her a sub DPS. It also has the ability to block one attack from enemies. Trading some damage for an active skill that can trigger a time lock, Grips of Taishan is also a good option. It is useful against targets that have an irregular attack pattern, or attacks that are difficult to evade. For Stigmata, the Fuhua Musician set makes an excellent option and synergizes well with Phoenix's abilities. It's useful in situations where Phoenix holds the role of both sub-DPS and support. Although the M part is more suited for teams with a fire elemental DPS, the set actually provides Phoenix with a great deal of damage as far as support sets go. The 2-set ability increases the team's total damage multiplier by 10% when Phoenix switches out, which synergizes well with her own elemental support abilities. With the support ability being activated at 2-set, this set can be customized by replacing one of the 3 parts with any other Stigmata that better suits the user's needs. Arctic Kriegsmesser at S rank or higher is especially useful for supporting Ice Elemental DPS Valkyries. The team gains an additional 30% ice damage against enemies who have been inflicted with a move slow, attack slow, or frozen debuff. Being a greatsword user, Blood Dance naturally makes the best option for a weapon. Even though it doubles the attack speed of enemies, its active skill causes enemies to take 60% more elemental damage for 9 seconds, an invaluable debuff most often used against bosses. For Stigmata, Jing Shun Tan T and M with Isaac Newton B are the prime choice for just about any elemental Valkyrie that switches into the field. With a 15% boost in all elemental damage from the T part, and 30% all elemental damage from the 2-set ability to Valkyries in the Blue Phoenix aura, and a 15% ice damage to the team from the M part after the host leaves the field, not forgetting an additional 10% all elemental damage dealt to enemies in the Blue Phoenix aura, Jing Shun Tan T and M work especially well when supporting Ice Elemental DPS Valkyries. Adding Isaac Newton B to this combination further increases the total damage multiplier against enemies by 41%. Isaac Newton B can be replaced with Jing Shun Tan B, which decreases the overall damage boost in the short run, but extends the Blue Phoenix aura by 3 seconds, which can prove to work better depending on the situation. Blood Dance's ability to apply all debuffs of the support Stigmata to enemies by using its active skill makes it the perfect combination. Phantom Iron at S rank or higher provides the team with elemental damage buffs. The team gains 15% elemental damage when attacking enemies with active shields. When Stalker Carbon is on the field, the team gains an elemental damage bonus of 30% but suffers an additional 30% total damage multiplier from hits taken. Phantom Iron as a support does not need a specific weapon, and is able to utilize Caravaggio T and M with Isaac Newton B. Commonly used in setups where there is a leader skill that provides initial SP, Caravaggio M and its 2-set ability synergizes well with Phantom Iron's ultimate skill. Isaac Newton B is used against bosses, and can be replaced with B Stigmata that provide SP, like Beethoven B, Schrödinger Band B, or Dirac B. Bronislav B is not applicable, as Stalker Iron's time on the field is dependent on Phantom Iron's remaining SP. Although less suitable, Jing Shun Tan T and M with Isaac Newton B or Jing Shun Tan's full set can also work well with Phantom Iron. Trading damage for convenience, Wolfsdawn at SS rank or higher is also an effective support for elemental Valkyries. She provides the team with a barrier that both absorbs incoming elemental damage and increases the team's elemental damage by 30% while active. Ideally, Wolf's Dawn sits out the fight and passively supports the team. However, in situations where she can be switched in, Star Shatterer Vikrin makes a good support weapon as it increases the total damage multiplier taken by weakened enemies. This works well with Wolf's Dawn's ability to weaken enemies with her basic attack. While she can utilize most elemental support Stigmata, Wolf's Dawn's passive ability to summon Bunny 19C into the field can work against the primary DPS Valkyrie. Since Bunny 19C taunts the opponents in the field, it'll make it harder for the main elemental DPS to trigger an ultimate evasion. Bunny 19C also displaces enemies, making it hard to keep them in the Blue Phoenix aura in the case of using Jingshan Tan. Ideally, Roland Amundsen's full set will work well with Wolf's Dawn's passive ability to buff the team's elemental damage without entering the field. The Valkyries and equipment that have been suggested can work well, but are not the only possible team combinations with the Herrscher of Reason. Swapping Valkyries and equipment that best suit each situation is highly recommended.